Hello and welcome to Mountaintop Media. I am Leslie and I am joined today by one of the coolest people that I've ever met. I was at the Church of Glad Tidings for the Rev 17 conference, and one of our sponsors and vendors that was there is a man named Johnny, and he is with Right to Bear. And our security team, I will, hop into this with him and talk a little bit, but our security team there was nothing to balk at. They had people up on the roof. We had men with huge guns everywhere. And our security guy, Pastor Brian, Dave Bryan, had talked about it the next Sunday at church when he pulled the gun at the church service. I don't know if you saw that clip yet. I'll send it to you if not. And he talked about you guys being one of the sponsors, but he was using it as a prop in his sermon the next week and explaining, how you appropriately handle it. And he was saying that the reason we partnered up with Right to Bear was the head of security had done all the research on all the companies that were available, and Right to Bear was by far the number one, took, first place by a long shot. So Johnny, welcome. Thank you for being such a huge part of Rev 17. We couldn't have done it without you guys, but also thank you for coming on. Just tell the viewers a little bit about what Right to Bear is.
Thank you, Leslie. It's a pleasure to be with you today. At Right to Bear, what we are, we protect people who are involved in self-defense incidents. We're huge 2A believers, and we have just seen across the country how just corrupt our government can be as far as chastising us people who love to carry guns and exercise our Second Amendment rights. Too many people are getting prosecuted when it's a true self-defense incident. And, a lot of people lose their homes. They lose everything they've got just to defend themselves in this incident that they were involved in. So that's where Right to Bear comes in, because we are a membership-based company. So we don't have underwriters like some of the companies do that look at the case and decide whether they're going to take it. That decision is strictly made by our president, vice president of our company, along with advice from our lead counsel. So we're not looking for a reason not to take that case, and that's what we do. We want to stand shoulder to shoulder with these 2A believers. We want to stand behind people who defend themselves in the lawful way, and make sure that they're not unjustly prosecuted.
That's amazing. And you're so right. I mean, we've seen it here. Even we live in a very conservative community, and we've seen where somebody has been forced to defend themselves and our district attorney throws the book at them. And, it's unbelievable, because the stuff that they choose not to prosecute versus the stuff that they choose to prosecute is insane. But so I've told you, our demographic here would love everything that you do, but also we're coming into kind of a crazy world and crazy times. And you guys were telling me a little bit about the fact that you're so much more than just 2A. It's any type of self-defense. So if you're driving into downtown and there's some mass crazy riot, because we live in a time where, that happens and it doesn't, nobody's going to put a stop to it. You guys defend against somebody who has to defend themselves in that type of situation. You pull up, you've got people in front of your car, and you for your own safety, have to defend yourselves. You guys protect against something like that too, as well, correct?
Absolutely. Um, yeah, we're not just about defending someone with firearms. It's any self-defense incident, and I usually have a little run that I make whenever I'm telling people. I'm saying hands, feet, fist, elbows, pepper spray, taser, grandma's frying pan. It doesn't matter. Um, you know, the key is if you're in a self-defense incident, then we've got your back. I think the craziest case that we've had so far as a weapon of opportunity, was a bag of avocados. Um, and we've made a lot of jokes about that, um, but it's fact. It doesn't matter what the individual uses. If you have to grab up a bag of avocados, if you have to use your umbrella, you know, we're going to be there standing with you to defend you. Um, our key in this is, you cannot be the instigator. You can't be the person that starts this. Um, and as long as you're not the one that created that event, you're simply defending yourself, your family. We're going to stand with you and we're going to defend you. There's no caps, there's no limits, there's no reimbursements. We're gonna cover you both on the criminal side and the civil side. And that's so important because now, in a lot of cases, even though you escape those criminal charges, people are going to sue you. Attorneys are so
Hmm.
hungry, they're going to seek these people out, and they're going to come back with these civil cases. And that's what we're going to do. We're going to defend you in those civil cases as well as the criminal case.
Absolutely. So I mean, that's unbelievable because you're right. We live in a society where nobody wants to take responsibility. Nobody wants to handle the consequences for their actions, and everybody wants to sue everybody, right? So everybody needs this type of protection because you never know what the situation is and you never know what you're walking into. I remember you guys telling me about the story with the lady in the bag of avocados. And you were so right. Like, if you are a small stature woman with a large stature man and that's what's available, that's the weapon of opportunity. And so, I mean, as funny as it is, that's the situation that happened and that's what she needed. But how many times we're walking into a world where everything is evil's just so blatantly out there, and just your everyday life has gotten so much more dangerous, and everything is it's so hard to even explain because I feel like our world is just upside down, right? And so I just want to talk a minute about what you guys do. You guys seem to give back to the community so much. You guys were at Rev 17. You were so hugely generous there. And you guys came all the way from, you're in Missouri?
South Carolina.
South Carolina. Okay. I want to say one of the phone numbers was a Missouri number that I was looking at, but so you guys traveled all the way across the country to come help us with Rev 17, rescuing children from trafficking and creating a piece of heaven, which, again, thank you so much for being part of that. But you guys travel everywhere. You guys cover people all across the country. Yes?
That's correct. You know, my role with the company is I'm the director for the houses of worship. So I deal with church safety teams. I'll also deal with security companies. Um, but we do offer memberships to everybody because we have regional managers across the United States. Unfortunately, there are 3 states that we're not available in, um, and I kind of refer to those as our communist states. But New York, New Jersey, and Washington State, we're not allowed to sell in. but all the other states we are allowed to sell in. So I do a lot of traveling. I go to the larger events like you guys had there at Rev 17. And we do seek out opportunities to try to give back to the community, and work with groups like yourself to try to generate funds where you guys can better reach your audiences and your mission.
That's awesome. You guys, I mean, you guys, and you're so fun to just sit and talk to, and you have great stories and just friendly faces. And it was such a pleasant experience to work with you. I can't wait to do more and just have everybody get to know how amazing you guys are, because sometimes when you work with a company, it's there's not that personality. You know, there's you guys are so respectful. You answer every question. You're on top of your game, on top of my game, even. Like, I was sitting there, my mailbox is full, and you guys are sending me the pictures for the videos. And it was, I mean, you guys were prepared. You were a pleasure to work with, and just so beyond accommodating. And I appreciate you guys. I had so much fun hanging out with you for 3 days.
Well, we do appreciate that, Leslie. I enjoyed it. It was really great because sometimes when you go, there's certain areas of the country where everybody's not quite as accepting as you guys are, and not quite as friendly. We won't name those areas, but they're there. Um, but I had a great time, and the purpose that you guys were there for uh, really opened my eyes, because there were a lot of things with the trafficking with the kids and things that I was not aware of. So it was great listening to the speakers and hearing what they had to say and learn more. And then of course the ultimate mission was to try to raise some money for you guys so y'all can move your mission forward.
Yeah, and we were successful. They raised the money. We were able to buy the Leo Chesney Center, which is now going to be piece of heaven, and they're going to take what was a compound and women's prison and make it a safe fortress for children. And so that is amazing. And we couldn't have done it without people like you partnering with us. So I appreciate that. While you guys were there, we talked a little bit more. Maybe Pastor Dave talked about it, about just how you guys got started, right? How did Right to Bear come about?
Okay, so but before I say that, I want to tell you that Pastor Dave is an awesome guy, um, and I really learned to love him while I was there. But to answer your question, how did Right to Bear get started? Well, um, we're actually a sister company to Palmetto State Armory, which a lot of people are very familiar with Palmetto State Armory. They're one of, if not the largest producer and distributor of firearms in the United States. Um, so that's a name that a lot of people, if you're a 2A person, you probably have heard of Palmetto State Armory. Um, we're not owned by Palmetto State Armory. Um, you know, the company that owns them also owns us, um, along with the president, vice president of our company. They're also owners in Right to Bear. And we actually got started out. We were an insurance company in the beginning, and it was not a good thing. And then after about 12 months of that, we saw where the association route was the route to go, where we didn't have the underwriters involved, and we were able to have a lot more flexibility with what we do. And at that point, the company really started growing. And right now we are the fastest growing company in our industry, and we're so thankful and grateful for that. And and I really contribute that a lot to our leadership team. Um, we are a faith-based company. We don't hide that fact. Um, you know, it's just amazing working with Frank and Perry because they truly do put God first, family second, and our country third. And that's one of the things they encourage all of us to do. Um, and as far as I know, everybody in our leadership team are devout Christians. And I'm so thankful for that. It's not one of those things that's a requirement, in your interview process to become a part of our team. Um, but it's just happened, and we're very grateful for that. And I'm so grateful for our leadership team and what they stand for and the way they push our company. So that's where we got started. That's our grassroots. Um, we are the only company out there that has over $1 billion in assets. So we proud of that. That creates our stability, so we're able to operate and be able to handle these cases whenever they come in, um, and run our company.
I love that. So it's funny. You said the three places that you guys are not allowed to sell. When you were listing them, I'm like, oh man, how did California not make that list? I know so many um, amazing Patriots in Jersey. And so it's funny that they made the list and we didn't. But also in California with the insurances, we are having such a huge insurance crisis. And I don't know if the rest of the country is having it as bad as, I mean, the insurance commissioner is an elected position and ours here is terrible. And during COVID, they put us in a terrible situation, and since it's gotten worse. So the fact that this is personal liability coverage without being an insurance should be a huge selling point to every single person of our audience. And the fact that you guys are just a company of believers, a company of people who believe in individual rights and freedoms, and you're based off of all of the things that our founding fathers created this great country to be. And that just speaks to everything that we believe in. And so I love that. I think that's why we just connected so well, is you're made for us. Like, this is something I can wholeheartedly believe in. So how does this work? If somebody is interested, they come to you. You said it's membership based. So they fill out, I saw your application there in person, but they come to you, they fill out an application, and then what is the next step? Walk us through that.
Okay, so if someone does want to become a member, they can do a lot of different things. Of course, they can go to protectwithbear.com. Uh, if if they are, so if you serve in the church, we do have our HOW program, which is Houses of Worship. You can go there, and there's a link to join now, um, and they can sign up through that. Um, and if they do, the one thing we do want to encourage is they use your promo code, uh, because if everybody that signs up and uses your promo code, we do make a donation to your ministry. So we don't want to miss out on getting you guys the portion that we would like to give back to you. Um, if there's they can also contact me directly, and my information is on that website, my both my phone number uh, and my email address. So if they want to call, if they have questions, because a lot of times people do have questions on how this works, um, so they're welcome to call me. Um, you know, they could also, if I'm not sure what Cody's got worked out with you guys, as far as if y'all would have any paper applications, probably not. Um, but the best way is to reach out to me, and get my contact information through the website. and then I can explain the program. Um, but if they don't have any questions and they just simply want to sign up, then go to join now. And then once it gets to a place where they can put the promo code in, make sure they put your promo code in so that we can make that donation to your organization.
That's amazing. I'm so excited for this. But I'm more excited. I'm excited about the promo code. I'm excited about further helping Piece of Heaven and further helping Mountaintop kind of get in front of everybody. But I am so excited to get you guys in front of our community. I just feel like we have a very well regulated militia here in Shasta County. We have amazing patriots who, I think I was telling you and Cody at the event, when all of the riots were coming through during 2020, and we had the George Floyd stuff happen, and Antifa was in their buses traveling and going city to city, burning things to the ground and just causing problems. We had a group of individuals, they called themselves Stake in NorCal, and they showed up in matching yellow t-shirts and stood at the corners of every major intersection and lined our city. And all of those buses just drove right on through. And there was not any huge, massive protest or riot here in Shasta County because we had a group of amazing individuals who stood up and said, not here, not in our town, and it's not going to happen. And we've had a couple times where we've had people who, and they've been self-proclaimed Antifa members. They've shown up, they've been, fully dressed in their scarves and everything else. And they're like, we're part of the LA stuff and we're part of this and we've been part of Seattle. And they show up to our meetings and our guys show up and they line the back of the boardroom and they said, it's not happening, and just, 12 men with their arms crossed in the back of the room is enough to make these people leave, And so we have such amazing people in our community, and you just seem like you would be the best fit. We have one other gentleman. It's one of my favorite videos just because of the backstory to it. But he had a situation where he had somebody coming at him. And no matter how many times he had to warn the individual, he kept pursuing him. So he pepper sprayed him. And he pepper sprayed him good. And, I don't know that any litigation or anything came of it, but because it was all videotaped and it was very clear who the aggressor was in the situation. But I mean, the fact that you guys would be there for them and be in their corner and a membership would protect them. Think about all the things that we have memberships to and that we have subscriptions to that are useless. And then here it is, something that people, I would hate to say, could use in their everyday life, but people could need in an everyday situation.
Absolutely. And, looking at that pepper spray incident, and depending on, what officer was called out, you might get one of these crazy prosecutors and now they want to charge this individual with assault. The other thing too is the person that got pepper sprayed, they could come back and claim their eyes, because pepper spray is rough on your eyes, and some people it reacts to differently than others. But they could come back and say, hey, it's messed my vision up. I'll never have the same vision I had prior to getting sprayed, and I'm going to sue you. And now you got to go hire an attorney. You got to go to court, and the cost for that is astronomical. And especially, in California, attorneys are going to be very expensive. Of course, they're very expensive anywhere. So that's what we want to do, is protect our members so that if they do get in that situation, they've got nothing to worry about. Because, if that happened to me and I didn't have right to bear, I would not be able to sleep tonight, because, everything I own would be on the line. I don't have that much. So, it would typically, it would wipe me out. So um, we want people to have that peace of mind. I've often told folks, uh, if I've got pants on, I've got a gun, except when I go to California. Man, did I feel naked whenever I was in. Oh, that. But I'm gonna tell you, that I did feel the safest at Rev 17 than any other event I've ever attended. Because I mean, I'm looking around and there's a guy on the roof with a rifle. Look around. I mean, I'm looking at six different people on rooftops with rifles, and then all these people walking around with their ARs, and I'm like, yeah, I think I'm pretty good here. Um, but you know, just the fact of if I ever do have to use that firearm or any type of defense, you know, I've got to have something to back me up, and that's one of the messages we try to get out to people. Yes, we have the right to bear arms. Yes, we have the right to protect ourselves, but we don't think about the repercussions after the fact of that incident.
Johnny, when people sign up, they go to your website, they contact you, they get all the information, they sign up. What all does the membership cover?
Okay, when you're a member of Right to Bear, um, we're going to cover you as we've talked about, both criminally and civilly. We have no caps, no limits, no reimbursement, so you never have to pay anything out of pocket. We take care of everything. Um, And as far as attorneys, we do have attorneys in all 50 states, even though we can't sell in those three communist states of New York, New Jersey, and Washington. Um, but we do have attorneys there, so if you had an incident, we would represent you. Another thing that we do a little differently is we do give you the opportunity to use your own attorney if you wanted to. So if you have a rock star attorney in your area, um, you know, we will pay the bill. We just have to vet that attorney, make sure that they're capable of handling your case, because we don't want to get in a situation where somebody wants to hire their brother-in-law that's a real estate attorney to defend you in a criminal case like this. So we do vet them to make sure that you get that coverage. We do encourage our membership, if you have that rock star in your community, go ahead and send that information into our info at protectwithbear.com. That way, our counsel can go ahead and get in touch with that attorney and get the vetting process out of the way, and maybe even possibly bring them on as a program attorney, because a lot of our program attorneys have come through referrals, and how better to get a attorney on your team than through a referral. um, we also cover your expert witness in that case, and expert witness, it can be expensive, um, but we take care of that. We're going to put them in that courtroom so they can and help us win that case. Psychological support, guys. PTSD is real. We recognize that fact. So if you're involved in an incident, we will pay for you to go to 40 sessions of counseling with a licensed counselor. If you can't find one, we'll help you. But you can choose your counselor. Here's a biggie: firearm confiscation replacement. We cover you for any self-defense incident, regardless of what weapon you use. We talked about avocados, but we will defend you for any weapon. But if you do use a firearm, the police is going to confiscate that firearm, and chances are you'll never get it back. And in some cases, you might not own but one firearm, and we want to make sure that your family's protected. So we're going to replace that firearm with one like the one that was confiscated. If it's available, that's what we're going to get you, whether it's a handgun or whether it's a long gun. Um, you know, you're going to get that firearm replaced. Even if you get yours back, you keep the one that we gave you. Um, and unlike some of the companies, if it is in there, we don't make you wait 6 months before we start that process. we start that process right away. We also handle or cover you for a negligent discharge. Some people want to call it accidental discharge, but me as an instructor, I don't believe in accidental discharges. It is negligence involved when that happens, but we will cover you in a negligent discharge as well. Um, so that's pretty much it. We try to cover all the bases and try to make sure that everything that is involved in that self-defense case, we play a part in covering you and taking care of you.
Wow. That is full service at its finest. You covered so many things that I wouldn't even think to cover. So, and again, it's one more thing that sets you apart from an insurance company, right? An insurance company is going to look at that. And the moment you said negligence, they're going to, claim denied. That was your fault. It was negligence. And you're outright, it is negligence, and we're going to protect you. So that's awesome. You guys, my hat is off to you. Everything that you do is amazing, and I appreciate you.
And here in South Carolina, we got a bunch of these old country rednecks, and they like, well, I got a bunch of land and I got a backhoe. I don't have to worry about anything. And but ultimately somebody's going to find that body because they're going to come up missing.
Yeah.
And they're going to need us. So every citizen, whether you carry a firearm, whether you carry pepper spray, or if you don't carry anything, every person needs to be a member of Right to Bear, because I don't know of a single person that would not, if someone attacked them or attacked their children, that they wouldn't do everything that they could to save themselves, their children, a loved one, regardless of what it's with, because they're gonna pick up a hammer, they're gonna pick up a brick, a rock, an umbrella, anything they can. Their vehicle, if they have to run them over, they're gonna do whatever they can to protect themselves and their loved ones. So with that, they need us, because if I mean, the cases that I have seen come in across the United States is just, some of them are totally asinine. I mean, you just look at it and you're like, what in the world are these people thinking? How can they charge this individual in this case? It's crazy, but that's the reason. And I have to tell people all the time, please, please do never confuse my passion with pressure.
Right.
Because I am so passionate that sometimes it can come across as pressure, when I'm trying to get that individual put ink on paper. But it's not pressure. It's simply passion, and I'm trying to keep that person. I'm trying to save that person from the anguish that they could face.
Absolutely. And I appreciate it. I mean, I kept asking you guys at the event, do you need anything? What can I do for you? And both of you were like, just fill this out. I will 100% be becoming a member. And I love it. I mean, Cody said he does like a self-defense course, kind of on his own off to the side, but it's insane. You have a home, somebody breaks into your home, somebody gets hurt, they can sue you as the homeowner because they broke in, or break into your business, they can sue you. And so the same thing would count. Somebody attacks you and you have the right to defend yourself. You defend yourself, and then this person's going to sue you. I agree. It's absolutely asinine. But growing up, my dad used to say, if somebody ever messes with my kids, I will sleep well every night in jail, knowing that that person's never going to do it to anybody else. Right. And I used to just laugh, like, my dad's so weird. But now as a mom, I'm like, come at me, like, mess with my kids, and I will sleep every night well in prison, knowing that you will never mess with mine or anybody else's kids ever again, right? And so that mama bear comes out, and you need that. So I will 100% be becoming a member.
Yeah, you mentioned something about the education portion. Let me say we do. Once you become a member, uh, we do have um, a place on our website that we have several videos that you can go to, training videos. Of course, I'm one that I do think they do have a place. You can learn a lot from watching videos, but you need to put rounds down range.
Hmm.
That's where you're going to get your best experience is actually putting those rounds down range. Um, but we also have other things that we do as far as live workshops. Um, like for churches, we have workshops where we go in and we'll meet with church safety teams and staff members and basically give them a 30,000-foot view of a safety team. Um, More or less give them a list of boxes to check off. So, once they go through that, now they've got stuff to take back to think about and work on. Um, we don't do any of the hands-on type training at this point. We've got facility partners across the United States. Some like you guys, where we're working on a mission, but we've got others that actually do training. And so what we do is we direct our members to those folks to get that additional training. We also have, workshops we do that's, active shooter, situational awareness, just all kind of topics that we do. And once you become a member, you can go, or even if you're not a member, you can go to our website and look under events. And all the events that we're doing across the United States are listed there. So you can find one in your area and then register to come to that event.
That's awesome. I'm going to be putting your guys' website in the video so that everybody can go there and check all of that out. But I know when we went, Patriot Academy, Rick Green has the Patriot Academy in Texas, and they do the biblical citizenship classes. And we went there with Moms for Liberty for a legislative training. And it was a legislative boot camp. They throw you in, they teach you how to build a bill, they teach you how to fight the bill. And then once we're done with legislative training, they had a 2-day gun range course. And I was like, how much more patriotic do you get than learning to fight your legislative branch and make bills, fight bad bills, gut and amend bills is what happens here in California. And so you learn how to fight that. But then they do a gun range training. So, I mean, we need to get you guys in touch with them because everybody they pump through that training should be meeting you guys and signing up with you guys. I just think you're such a perfect fit for everybody. But I love that you guys do so much. You have such a no nonsense mindset. Like, yes, you need this, but then you also need to know what you're doing and be trained. And it just makes sense. You have so much common sense in a world without common sense. So, Johnny, thank you so much for coming on. Thank you for telling us a little bit about you. We will be definitely talking again soon. I know John was like, we're going to have him back on. We got to break down some stories and talk more detail. And I know he's going to have questions for you, but tell us one more time how people get a hold of you, what your website is, and why. Give your elevator sales pitch one more time.
All right. Leslie, it's been great. Thank you so much for inviting me on today. Um, I just love your organization and what you guys do. But to get in touch with us, you can go to protectwithbear.com and then just follow the website through. If you're signing up as a regular member, there's a place you can do that. You can also go to the HOW program. If you do serve in your church, please go to that and make sure that you get these guys promo code when you sign up, because we do want to make a donation to their organization so they can continue to grow. I mean, the purpose and that you guys have is just absolutely awesome. I came home all excited, telling my wife, about your organization and the things you do. Um, and some of the things y'all do is a little scary, um, but you've got God there with you, and I know He's holding you guys' hands. It's got to be, for y'all to pull off some of the things that y'all pulled off. One thing I do want to say in closing, I don't hesitate to say we're a faith-based company. I've kept saying that over and over. But there's one thing that really, really sets our company apart from anybody else. Um, the president of our company is I mean, just loves God, and every phone call that comes into our emergency hotline number, uh, I don't care if it's 2 o'clock in the morning, but if someone is in trouble and they've had to defend themselves and they call that 800 or our emergency hotline number, once that individual is clear to take a phone call, the president of our company will call them up, make sure they're okay, and he will ask if he can pray with them. Um, and when I found out he was doing that, it just blew me away, because I've been in this industry for quite some time, and the other companies that I've been involved with and know about, I don't know of another single company out there that the head person in that company is accessible to the membership. But our president and our vice president are. It happens all the time with people, and I don't know if some people just want to try you to see if they can get there, but I will tell you, I have never reached out to the president or vice president of our company and said, "Hey, Joe Smith wants to speak with you." Before the end of day, these guys will make time to get in touch with them. So that is, again, that's one of the things that really sets us apart. We all have servant hearts. We want to serve our membership, and we're grateful for every person that signs up with us, and we want you to know that.
Oh my goodness, that's amazing. I love that so much. We love working with people like that. We have two amazing sponsors here at Mountaintop Media, Jefferson State Diesel and Taylor Motors, and they are the same way. Every episode, John talks about them, and he talks about the fact that Jefferson State Diesel, both owners are right there on site to make sure that you're getting the best service. Taylor Motors, they have been a huge support and a huge sponsor because they can't be in the everyday battle with politics and everything we've got going on here, because they are there at their business making sure that they can serve their customers, their staff, their community. And so just one more reason why you guys are such a good fit for our tight-knit community is, we love working with people like that. And an organization that is not afraid to be outright firm believers in their faith is amazing. I told you about Patriot Academy. We went out there. Patriot Mobile actually paid for all the Moms for Liberty members that went to Patriot Academy. It didn't cost us anything to attend because Patriot Mobile paid for it. And they said when they gave their spiel there at the training, when they came out as a conservative company, they gained users and customers, when they came out and said we are conservative and we are faith-based and we are not ashamed of that, they said business just ballooned and boomed, because when you are faithful and you are not afraid to show it and you just say yes and answer the call. I love that you guys have something specifically for members of the church. All too often the church is not involved. The church is too scared to, obviously not the Church of Glad Tidings with Pastor Dave Bryan, but other churches are too scared, And so I love that you guys have something specifically for members of faith. So I love that. Thank you so much for everything that you do, and we will have you on again soon.